officer.
Oops.
Particularly for Carlson. And I don't know what they're afraid that I'm going to let happen here, but we've never had any problems before. And so I am happy to have you. I hope you come every time and that the police send somebody for everybody. Not even the mayor brought a policeman here. So I appreciate that. So, well, I have to make fun of this because somebody told somebody that we were going to have trouble here today. And so they sent the police. So that's very interesting.
And even if we did, you can handle
I
it.
just hope that the trouble is not me.
Well,
Sure about that?
don't worry, I'll bail you
A
out.
lot of trouble.
I'll bail you out, Marty. It's okay.
So anyway, we have a good program today. Somebody said, I don't think many of you that are watching, because all these people know him, and some of them have heard about it, but it's somebody new running for commission, although I think he ran once before, but I don't remember. Did you run once before?
For a very short period of time. I need to take care of
Oh, okay. You'll answer later. I didn't remember. But anyway, Fred Karlson, come on. Before you come, Fred, we're thanking the Instant Eatery for having us here. As you know, we don't pay anything. They let us in for free. And so you're eating, so that's good. Whatever we spend is good for us.
And
Usually the candidate, no talking while we're going on. The mayor's office is represented by Fred. And
He's always here.
Thank you for coming. Somebody called me, and I can't remember. I really didn't remember. But then, right now, getting older, I don't remember much. Thank God, because I'm free in my mind. So I'm going to turn it over. Tell us why you're running. And then we open it to questions.
Well, good morning. First of all, thank you for your service. My name is Fred
You
Karlson.
gotta speak up. No, that's a mic for it's live on
Oh,
Facebook.
streaming.
So speak up.
My name is Fred Karlson. I'm a lifelong Miami Beach resident. I grew up on 51st and Alton Road. And I guess the reason that I'm running is because this is a city that gave so much to me as a child. And I had so many great memories here going to North Beach Elementary School. Then later on I ended up going to the Beaver Academy for middle school and then Miami Beach Senior High School. The childhood and youth experience that I went through was amazing. When I moved here from New York in 1965, Miami Beach was heaven. It was an incredible place to live. And recognizing that Miami Beach is a special place, over time, more and more people wanted to come here, and more people wanted to develop here. And I feel like our quality of life over the decades that I've been here has started to decrease. You know, we're burdened with overbuilding, we're burdened with traffic, we're burdened with crime, many other things, infrastructure problems, even taking away youth projects, youth programs that I was so fortunate to have as a child, that we really kind of need to get focus back on, in my opinion. So I'm a quality of life candidate. I'm in the real estate investment business. I'm not a developer, regardless of what anybody says. I can't build anything that I've developed. Well, I've built 2 single-family homes. So, but I don't build high-rise buildings. I never have. They try to associate me to a building that I bought many years ago called Waverly at South Beach. I didn't build that building. It was built by Zong. opponent tries to say that I own 1,500 apartments in Miami Beach. I do not. I own one apartment in Miami Beach. The apartments that they're talking about, I own in Michigan and Delaware, so I don't know how it got to Miami Beach. And many other things, they attack me personally, and I'm okay. I'm a big boy. I understand. I don't attack my opponent personally. I attack her record. So her voting record, her appointments, that we feel are completely inappropriate. Those are the things that we talk about. I talk about in debates. But I'm donating my time to the city. I'm not taking a salary. I'm not taking their stipend. I'm not taking their Basel, Switzerland ticket. I'll buy my own, thank you very much. I'm donating every single cent, including in perpetuity, my pension, whatever that is, I don't even know, will all go to underprivileged children in Miami Beach. Not a nickel am I taking. I'm not taking personal donations, and I'm not taking them for a reason. It's true, I know a lot of people here, being here 60 years, that's true. But I felt like taking money from my friends or people, and I'm going to owe somebody something. And I didn't want to owe anybody anything. I wanted to come in here kind of being able to be my own person and think my own way. I want you to know something about me, and it's interesting because my neighbors are here today, and they have a certain opinion of me, which I'm okay with. But I'm a listener, regardless of what anybody thinks or says. The first and foremost thing for me is to be able to listen to people and to be able to be open to changing my mind. Not that I am, stuck in my ways. My wife will tell you that, many times I come to her for counseling, what is her opinion, what's everybody's opinion. So I'm a residents first candidate. It's really simple for me. Is it good for the residents or is it bad for the residents? If it's good for the residents, I'm going to support it. And if it's bad for the residents, I'm not going to support it. I'm not going to support spot zoning and more high-rises here in Miami Beach while we don't have a real handle on our infrastructure. Because, one day, like it's happening up in North Beach, we're going to have fecal matter coming out of the sewers, okay, and then we're going to have another big problem on our hands that we don't want to have. So, I'm a residence candidate. It's all about quality of life to me. It's also about trimming our budget because we opened up a park recently, the Bayshore Park, as many of you know, and great for the community. But it took 11 to 13 years, somebody say 11, somebody says 13 years, okay, to get that park done. So a park that cost $8 million 13 years ago is $42 million today. And we can't afford to continue to go down the road of delaying our projects. We have $1 billion worth of CIP projects, capital improvement projects. We are taking bond money, okay, drawing from bond money, and once we draw from bond money, the taxpayer is paying the interest on it. So all of those things, if you are drawing that bond and 13 years later, you pay 13 years of taxpayer money on the bond. So my specialty is in contract writing, maybe not as good as Adam's, but contract writing and contract negotiation, and moving projects so that we don't sit here for years. Also, we take a look at what's going on in Trader Joe's, for example. We've got a small infrastructure project that should have taken them about 4 months. The private sector would have taken 4 months to do this project. And yet, here we are, and we're coming on, I think, maybe almost year 2. So these are the kinds of things that I want to focus on. The other thing that's very important to me is our children and our community. Super important to me. Education in our community is super important. Making sure that we have quality across North Beach, who continues to feel, I get emails all the time that they continue to feel like they're the stepchild of Miami Beach. And they shouldn't feel that way. We should have equality across Miami Beach. We're one community. We're not north, we're not middle, and we're not south. We're Miami Beach. And it's very important that everybody feels that they have skin in the game and they're part of the process. So making sure that we have good parks for our children, good programs for our children, those are things that are very, very important to do here in my heart. It's not very near and dear in my heart or special interests. Those are not. You know, I've even said, you know, I don't even want to meet with special interests if I'm elected. You know, lobbyists. I'm really not. I'm focused on what do the residents of Miami Beach need to have a better quality of life. That really is my sole focus. So, you know, there's a lot of other things I could talk about, but I'm going to open the floor to questions. One more thing I'd like to say. As it relates to our traffic situation, as I said to you, I'm not for spot zoning. The only place that I would consider maybe some kind of reasonable height increase would be for affordable housing. And the only reason that I would consider that would be because if we don't get to a place where we bring in more affordable housing, and I know this is something that is near and dear to Maddie, she's right about it. If we don't bring more affordable housing here, it's one of the major ways that we can tackle traffic. We have to have people staying on Miami Beach. We can't have them keep coming on and off the beach, you know, and causing these traffic jams. So that's the only place that I would be open-minded to maybe giving some marginal height increase, but it would have to be affordable housing. It would have to be provable affordable housing. It would have to be very strictly enforced in contracts to make sure that that's what we're getting, that developers don't come in, they say it's affordable housing, and then try to go to market housing. We'd have to write all this stuff into contracts and make sure that we're protecting, you know, our city. So that's the reason that I'm running. I'm here to help. I'm here to give up of my time, and I'm here to do it for free for our community. So thank you.
To explain people to the issue, I'm Adam Kravitz. I'm president of the Alton Road Homeowners Association, but I live on Alton and 29. Actually, way up to here that Fred grew up. Did you grow up on Alton or 51st?
5100 Alton.
Okay, so on Alton, so you know some of the problem. And the issue is that on some of our more wealthy streets, like North Bay Road and Flamingo Road, where there's big $20 million houses, residents there seem to feel that there's too much traffic on those streets, and their solution to that has been to start to propose special assessment districts, basically to privatize these streets and to gate them off so that the rest of the city and people can't use them. On Alton Road, this creates a particular difficulty because we need Alton, we need North Bay Road, because in certain directions, the only way to get out is to circle around and literally circle around the block of North Bay Road that's behind us to be able to get across it, because we have a golf course across from us or whatever, so you can't make left turns, you can't, you know, to go going and coming from two directions. So the plus emergency vehicles and other reasons that. So the question is, you spoke at the FERC meeting at least, okay, in favor of you know, this special assessment district, and my question to you is, would you be willing to commit to, so right now the process of special assessment districts is it goes through the county, but the city has to approve it because it's in a municipality, so there will need to be a city ordinance approving it. And would you agree that before considering, the city considers this, that there should be an impact study on that the people proposing a special assessment would need to provide a full impact study stating all the impacts on all of the surrounding neighborhoods, on their neighbors, on Alton Road, on Pine Tree, wherever. So it's not just their issue, but how they're going to impact their neighbors. And then let those neighbors have a vote on it, that there would have to be a vote, not just of the people in the special assessment district, but the people that are going to be impacted by the special assessment district.
Thank you.
Sorry for
That was a long question. Are
But
you
detailed.
going to bring up, the short question is, are you going to bring up, because I've heard this too, and I asked you and you answered it. Are you going to bring up to close North Bay Road? And if somebody else brings it up, are you going to do that? Traffic study it, and all the nine.
So, thanks for the question, and I always like to answer questions directly. So, the answer is, I would absolutely support an impact study. You know, again, it goes back to my community comment. We're not North Bay Road versus Alton Road versus North Bay Road. And as a person, as you said, I grew up on North Bay Road, I know a little bit about North Bay Road.
Grew up in Alton.
So, I mean, on Alton Road. I'm growing up now on North Bay Road.
Do you live
So,
in North Bay Road?
I live on North Bay Road.
Oh, okey-dokey, that's
So,
clear.
so I absolutely would support an impact study. I think it's extremely reasonable. I'll tell you, I'll go one step further. It's okay. I'll go one step further. A lot of times when we do traffic impact studies or infrastructure studies, they're skewed. Okay, they're done by people that have the interest in the particular project. So it's like if I went to an engineer and I said, I want to build this building over here, I'd like for you to make sure that you skew the numbers in my favor. And then they hand it to the city. I'm not for that. I'm for independent studies that have nothing to do, that have nothing
He's
to
having trouble
All of a
turning
sudden,
it off.
everybody's voting. I'm sorry.
that have nothing to do with the neighborhoods. So I would look for somebody who's completely independent to give us actual data. Okay? Information is always going to be key with me. Data.
We got
Put on
it. We got
silence.
it.
Put on silence.
Turn it off.
Turn it off. Mari, I need to make a close-up of your jewelry.
Wait, what?
Your jewelry,
Oh,
I need
my
a
jewelry,
close-up. Yeah.
So,
And here,
so
this
when I asked you that question, oh, she's bringing a mic too. When
We
I
have
asked
some
you
people that have very
question, you told
low
me
voices.
no.
That's
That
correct.
you were not going to do that, that you didn't want any street closed, and now you changed it a little bit. You are looking for an impact, you're looking for a vote. So let's clear that up, please.
Well, what I did is I answered Adam's question.
Okay.
Okay, Adam's question was, would I support
Okay,
an
I got
impact
the
study?
Adam question.
So
Just
the-
tell me
so the
the
answer
answer
is-
to my
So
question.
the answer to your question is that I'm not in favor of street closures per se.
Okay, that's,
Okay,
but,
but,
huh?
okay, I would like to have an impact study. I think it's a reasonable thing to do.
Oh, so
But I'm
you
not-
are in favor of the North Beach with an impact study,
No.
but you are not in favor of Miami Beach as a whole?
No.
Oh.
Look, again,
There were two parts to the thing, an impact study and a vote of the people impacted.
okay, so a vote of the people being impacted, 100% yes.
Good.
Meaning on Alton as well as North Bay.
On Alton Road as well, North Bay Road as well, 100% yes.
But
in
can
favor
I,
of that.
may I ask a question?
This
How-
is an issue of have and have not. Esto es un issue de que tiene dinero cierra la calle y el que no tiene dinero no cierra la calle. The people that have money can close the streets and make it harder for other people, but the people that do not have money cannot close the street. Yes.
May I add one thing? As my husband Adam said, that you stood up in FERC and you've actually not
What
stood
is
up. You
FERC?
phoned. It's the finance.
The finance committee.
The finance. You phoned in. It's a publicly noted meeting. You phoned in, and you stated the case to make North Bay Road closed to everybody else except for the people that live on North Bay Road. You have decided that you want to push the special taxing assessment district forward, being led by you. Okay.
That's not true.
So who's leading it? And if you're not the one leading it, tell me, why did you ring in being in favor for it? Because it's all noted.
Okay.
So,
You can. Go ahead.
so it's a mischaracterization to say that I'm spearheading this. This was spearheaded by many residents on North Bay Road who were locked into their homes because there's so much traffic. It backs up. It started because traffic was backing up at Meridian on 30th Street all the way down to 20th Street, and people couldn't get out of their homes. That's how it started. I did not start it. Correct. And people were complaining that they couldn't literally get out of their driveways. That's how this started. I did not spearhead it.
Can we close Alton? Because we can't get out of our driveway either.
Okay. Well, may I answer?
Please do.
Okay. So again, I don't. You say that I stood up. I don't remember if but
You
I
phoned,
stood
we
up.
can
It's
get
on
it
a
for you
public
if you
record.
like.
Look, I had a position. It was before I spoke to you and Adam, okay, or any of the Alton Road residents. And as I began to speak to you and Adam, and I respect your opinions, I began to change my mind a bit. So again, I told you, again, I'm a listener. I don't take very strict positions. It's just not what I do. So your position is as important as a position as any resident on North Bay Road. I don't see it as an issue of have and have-nots. I see it as an issue of people just trying to get out of their driveways. It's true, I'm one of them. It's true. You know, it takes me 45 minutes to get my children from 23rd and North Bay Road to the JCC. 45 minutes. Because, right, so, no, I understand. I understand.
It is not only you.
I understand. I understand.
Here. I got you.
Oh,
let me,
here.
can I?
No, but I don't get my mic.
I actually want to bring up something very.
Okay, let me no, it's enough. It's enough. Again, he can ask the question. We're going to ask.
Anyway, I would support a special, I'll support a special.
Okay, I don't know where to point the camera.
And I would support absolutely Alton Road being part of any vote, if there even was one.
And I just want to make
Just
one short, it's a short comment, Fred. You said, and what is part of the issue here is when you say, nobody seems to want to take ownership of the genesis of the idea.
Well, I
No,
certainly
you turn around and you say, some people, residents want, people want, some people, this is now the political discourse. Some people say, nobody, if you said,
Joe Doe.
you know, if you said, yes, this was my idea, I pushed for it, now I've changed my opinion, I could credit that. But instead, Commissioner Suarez and everybody wants to hide behind this anonymous residents, this anonymous group of residents that came to the city and got them to do an entire plan and set up an entire meeting of no left turns. That's how it started.
Well,
and nobody can actually say this person and this person, so that the people on Alton Road can have a discussion with this person and this person. They just hide behind anonymity, and that's why there's a fundamental dishonesty and a fundamental lack of trust.
Okay.
And I understand that you cannot. But you can't lay the sins of the father on everybody else. Okay? I am
Okay.
telling you straight up that I don't know the genesis of this. Okay? I don't. And if I did, I would tell you.
Okay, Fred.
But
Fred.
but maybe Commissioner Suarez,
Fred,
he won't tell me.
remember what I told you about the bay? I cannot hold the line if you keep answering somebody that is starting to have a debate.
Good morning, Fred. Thank you for taking the process of running for office. As I know very well, it's not an easy one. So I had
Oh, please stop.
I'm not touching the microphone, I swear.
There you go.
So I had a simple question that I think I've asked every elected official that's ran or that's thinking around running. what is your plan, if you have one, on supporting small local businesses that have become obsolete and have disappeared, like David's Cafe Bar, you could say. They've been priced out, there's no pathway, and other cities have plans. Do you have any plans?
Wow, it's a difficult question. I'm a big supporter of local businesses. Look, you take Lincoln Road, for example. I think that part of the problem that we're having, and I don't know this is going to directly answer your question, because your question's a very difficult question to answer. But you take Lincoln Road, I think that part of the problem that we have here in the city is our permitting process.
About high rents.
And high rent, no question. I'm not really sure what you can do about high rent because everything, is owned individually by store owners, and I don't know how you can regulate, their determining what they want for their rent. I would like to see, I think that the rents are overpriced here. I'm in the retail business, so I know quite a bit about this, and I would like to see the rent prices come down to reasonable levels. Look, it's been suggested to me that the city should get involved in some sort of subsidy program, for small and local businesses. It's not my favorite thing to think about, but it is something that I certainly would be open to listening to that argument. I think that there are tens and tens and hundreds of millions of dollars to be saved on CIP projects. That's one of the things that I would love to focus on. And perhaps there is some sort of money that can be diverted for small businesses, sort of like an SBA program, a Small Business Administration Loan Program. So I think that that's one of the things that I would be interested in looking at. But I think that we have to tackle this from the top. And to me, the top is the $1 billion worth of infrastructure programs that we have on the table, and figuring out a way to bring down the prices of those without bringing down quality, and then maybe seeing about filtering some of that back to support our local businesses. But I'm a big supporter of our local businesses, and I want to tell you something. I went to David's Cafe a million times. With Maddie.
Okay, we have another question.
Yes, Mr. Karlson, although you mention many things on your handout, you do not mention education at all as one of your priorities. However, I was very happy to hear you say today that you support quality education across Miami Beach. And my question is, what is your vision for quality education across Miami Beach, and how do you intend to accomplish this for the Dade County public schools?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So on my website, you'll see the education platform. That was not printed properly, and I can't control that. They printed it. But there's a whole thing on my website. So if you go to fredkarlsonmb.com, it's there.
Now tell me the answer.
Yeah.
To the question.
So, we have a public school problem here. Every public school gets approximately $9,000 per student from the Department of Education, State of Florida. And of that, if you take North Beach Elementary, where I went to school, they have 900 students there. Miami Beach Senior High School has 1,000. So they're supposed to get $8.1 million a year, and they get $2.2 million a year. So I'll be very honest with you. I think that the district has gotten way too large. There's 476 schools inside the district approximately. 67%. No, the district. The district. Well, I have to explain it to you in order to give it to you. So 67% of all the money that comes from the state of Florida goes towards the district's overhead. And so the schools, whether it be on Miami Beach or Miami-Dade County, are left with very little left. So, in particular, I would be interested in Miami Beach forming its own district and sort of breaking away from this big behemoth and getting its entire funding from the state. So the $8.1 million would come to the District of Miami Beach. By the way, Miami Springs is already doing this, Aventura is already doing this. I think more and more people are getting away from this big behemoth that they have over there. You know, there's a lot of fraud within the system. I can tell you firsthand, and I always say, I know it, I heard it, I think it, I know it. I have had subcontractors that work for me, that work for the county. They get contracts for $60 million, for $10 million worth of work, and then they go and they buy pieces of land for cash and all this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of waste. So for that reason, I believe that we should become our own district.
So you believe that we should become a charter school?
Not charter,
So what would it be?
a district.
What is that?
It's still the same public school. It's the same public school system,
But run
but run by Miami Beach. So we would have our own.
That's called a charter school.
Well, no,
That's
no.
a charter community?
Well, no, it's not. Okay. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of. Well. Listen,
Well, the
there-
same
there-
fraud could happen in private schools or in charter
Well,
schools.
but what's happening all around the state now, and I think you're going to see that there's a lot of talk about breaking this district up into 20 different districts. There's a lot of talk about this going on to begin with. So,
I
but
don't know if you know that Miami Beach is one of the
Hello,
top
hello.
And Marty's the one running the meeting.
Enough. We're going to break to another question. I'll be back to you, but not now. I have another question here.
Thank you, Fred. Good morning, this is Rob. On the question earlier, obsolescence, that's interesting. Could you speak a little bit more about entrepreneurship and what your vision is for developing more entrepreneurship here? Because in the old days, some of the real estate models have changed here from retail to other things. And we're investors as well. I'd be curious of your thoughts.
well, entrepreneurship is a very broad word, so can you give me a little bit more detail?
Sure. Either businesses relocating here, starting up here, it could be tech, it could be services, it could be consumer. There's things that create jobs, things that are less traffic sensitive, but more just job and tax creation sensitive.
Yeah.
We've got investments in food and aerospace, healthcare.
So another very good question. So being in the retail space, you know, I've had a lot of discussions with people who are experts at this. People like Craig Robbins, who transformed the design district into what it was today. To this day, I still can't believe it. But first, I would really go out to try to draw upon the experts in these fields, and we have some good ones. Craig is just one, just to name one. I think that the biggest problem that we have here in drawing more entrepreneurship, more businesses, again, I think is the permitting process. And I'll tell you why. So, in the old days, we'd go get a set of plans, we'd bring it in, they'd give us comments, we'd go back and mark up the comments, go back in, and if the city wanted a second look, we had an in-person review, and we changed the comments on the plans. Okay, and then 30 days down the road, the architect would come in so that there's not a pen mark on there and make the changes. Today we go through review to review to review to review to review to review, and it keeps going on and on and on. It delays the process. The other thing is that we go through these many department reviews. So I don't know, we have 7 or 8 department reviews. Just to give you an example, you go in for an electrical review. You get the electric guy to stamp the reviewer to stamp your plan. The building official stamps your plan. And then for some reason it goes to the arborist, okay, who's about trees. So, and he knows nothing about electric, but he is holding your plans. And then what happens is he decides, well, Rob, you know what? I got your plans here, and there's a couple of trees that I want to talk to you about. So he sort of strong arms you, okay, because with your electric permit. So I think that we have to eliminate those kinds of ongoing reviews. If you want to bring businesses here, real businesses, back to Miami Beach, one of the things that I hear over and over and over again is that the process takes too long. And so if you want to bring, let's just say whatever business you want to bring, and then they think they're going to be 2 years in the process to get a permit, they're not coming. I can.
I understand that, but I don't understand the arguments, and I gotta follow up on that.
So the
I need to
arborist.
understand it.
So for 50.
The arborist is, you know what it is, it's about trees. Go ahead.
So for 55 years, we have our own landscape code in the city of Miami Beach. Okay, it was always handled in planning and zoning.
No, but what does the arborist, don't give me the whole 55 years, just give me today, about what do they look at? Because I would assume that if you go to an electricity plant for a building that you're building or renovating, it'd be inside. Why would the arborist look at it if it's inside?
Because it's part of the process at the city.
But you don't know why.
No, I do. It's part.
Okay,
It's
so
part.
what
of,
is it?
Because
Why?
the city has a set of their own rules that say that you have to go from department to department to department.
Okay,
Every
so there's
department
no
has to-
reason, really, you're saying.
There's no reason for it.
Unless it's about wires outside, because I'm very strict about wires and trees. In Miami Beach, we lose electricity, not because trees fall, but because trees are too close. And when I was there, we did a tree, because I complain about that. I lose my electricity, I don't have a tree in my house, but the guy next door refuses to cut his tree. So the branch on the FPL has to come, they don't come, nobody can touch it, whatever the rules are. Blows the generator.
Right.
So we have a plan for trees so that any tree that is on the wire doesn't grow to the wire.
Right, but that's not an arborist issue. The arborist issue is just simply for trees. That's an FP&L issue.
No,
Well,
it's a city.
Well, let me finish. That is an FP&L and a city issue. So the city should be responsible for cutting back trees. FP&L also has their own program. That has nothing to do with the.
But when you're
with the
building
arborist.
a building, the type of tree that you put under the wire,
That's an
that is
arborist.
the time to look at and see what trees you're planting so that it never grows. I know, it never grows enough to touch the tree.
Right.
That's my
Right.
point.
That's correct.
And that is why it goes probably to the, but not, it shouldn't go if they're not doing anything outside.
No, but that's not it. But his question is different.
Okay,
His question.
never mind.
His question is
Any
how
other
do you.
question? You had a hand up. I like to clarify. Everybody meddles the points here. Let me get this lady. This is not working?
Oh, it is working. I don't know what happened.
No.
Doesn't like Maddie.
Well, yeah, the microphone, so people ask.
Can you repeat the question?
So
The
that
homeless problem.
homeless
What
issue?
would he do to homeless problem? Maybe we touch on.
okay.
You start touching buttons. Wait a minute, no, you start touching buttons.
This one is not working.
No, it's because they changed the. Hello, yes. No, you can't touch the button. Hello. Yeah. Don't touch
The
the
button is in the wrong place.
So, I'm going to just start with a basic comment, then I'll answer your questions. everybody, anybody that is one half of a human being has to feel for people who are homeless. You know, people who, you know, were once a child, lived in a home, had parents, and now all of a sudden they're on the streets, they have nowhere to go, and they have mental illness that need to be dealt with. And so the way that I understand it, and I don't want to tell you that I'm an expert in this field because I kind of just got into this. So the way I understand it is that the city of Miami Beach has an outreach program, and once there is outreach and that the homeless are offered outreach, that if they refuse the outreach, that they arrest them and they bring them, I guess, overnight to jail. Okay. I don't think that's a very good solution. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me to put people in jail overnight so they can come back out the next day, and so on and so forth. What I do think is that, A, we have to get this new facility that we have, I think it's on Northwest 2nd? Yes, I think that we need to get this open. I don't know what the delays are there, but I can tell you that would be something I would definitely be looking into and trying again to figure out and lend my expertise to move the project and get it physically open. The other thing is, I think that we need to have further discussions with the county about, and even the state, about additional funding for more facilities. So the answer is, I would like to see more facilities. I would like to see greater counseling for mental health, and to get people the help that they need. I don't think that just throwing people in and out of jail overnight is a solution. And at the same time, we're having to balance public safety, because people who are mentally ill, like this gentleman who was sitting on Ocean Drive and took a bullet to the head from somebody, for no reason, we have to address it as well. Every citizen in Miami Beach has the right to feel safe. It's the cornerstone of everything that we are. And so I think greater public outreach and greater lobbying of the county and the state for more facilities and greater resources, I think is a real way to go.
Okay. Who else had a question? Okay. Anybody else that has?
This gentleman right here.
Oh, Harry.
He doesn't need the microphone.
I don't. My question, of course, is, rapid transit. We really need to bring transit here, because people that live here work in Miami. People that live in Miami or the mainland work over here. The rub is that when they put a line here, they want to preempt our zoning. What would you do to get together with the county and to sort of mitigate that to a certain extent?
What do they want to do?
They want to preempt the zoning, the local zoning here.
Which means what?
Which means that they have to upzone, so that because the county would like to bring people where the rapid transit is, so they want more housing where the transit line
For a mile
goes.
in either direction, basically,
Yes.
it would
So
preempt
it would
the
be all
zoning
Miami
thing.
Beach.
Yeah.
That is why no one, including Mayor Minor, does not want that to come here, because then it would be not only the state that is trying to preempt what we do, but also the county. And so that is the two-whammy thing.
So, I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you. I don't know really a lot about this issue. I'll tell you what concerns me about the issue. Upzoning would concern me. The second thing is how long this project would take, because this is going to involve a major upheaval of our streets. Disruption of our streets. And, we already have a pretty severe traffic problem. So, you know, I like the idea of rapid transit. I'm not an expert in it. I will tell you that I have quite a few contacts in the county. I think that dialogue is, you know, something that I would like to have. I'd certainly like to understand more about the issue. I don't know a lot about that issue, I'll be honest
Okay,
with you.
that's a good answer. That's a good
So,
answer.
I'd be happy to hear
You don't
from
know, you don't know.
about what you want.
Let me ask you a question.
Don't start judging.
What? What? Okay.
See, you touch the
Too
phone.
many
Now
people running
you talk like the chipmunkies.
Okay. What? Here.
I told you not to touch it. Now you talk like the chipmunkies.
No, I don't need it. I can talk loud enough. I forgot the question though. Go ahead. Who else has a question? I forgot the question because of you.
Well, we were talking about traffic and upzoning and the rail, and I said I didn't.
I forgot.
So shall I announce the? Oh, there's one question.
You have another question? Short question. She doesn't have a question. I'm running this meeting.
If I accept what you said about making all the schools charter schools or whatever you want to call them, okay?
Not charter.
Whatever, okay? How would they be able, whoever it is that takes over, to make all the schools equal? This came with North Beach and with the other charter schools and the private schools. How would they do that? How do you have a vision as far as how they would be able to
Well,
do that?
one of the simplest ways is they would get 75% of their money. So instead of getting $2.2 million, every school would get, you know, a much larger amount of money. Look, the problem with the schools, you know, when I went, my middle son went to North Beach a year ago. Okay, he was there from kindergarten through third grade. And I remember the day before he graduated, I went to the restroom there. And the smell in that restroom brought me back to my childhood. It was so bad. The same smell, the same auditorium, the same cafeteria from 60 years ago. So I think the major way that we make a difference is to make sure that whether it's South Point, or it's North Beach, or it's Biscayne Elementary, or it's Leroy D. Feinberg, okay, that they get the majority of the money that they need to modernize their schools. We're coming into a whole different area now of artificial intelligence. We don't have the technology packages. We don't have any of that stuff. So for our students here on Miami Beach, the best thing is for us to give them a much greater amount of money to work with so that they can modernize their schools. You know, I did a cost analysis. It cost $7.5 million to build a new North Beach elementary school. Okay, I'm not suggesting the building because the building is an iconic building. So, but you could modernize every single classroom. You could redo every auditorium, redo every cafeteria, redo every, all the technology packages if they had more money.
Now,
But
7
money
million
just gets
they
sucked
would get.
away.
It's 1 million goes to
It just gets sucked away into the district.
Hi, Joanna again. I too have I've had two children, a stepchild and my child, to go through the public education system. And I don't think you're really taking into account the fact that we have the most incredible magnet schools that we have access to. So if you want to kind of single yourself out on the beach, where is the reciprocity? Will we be able to use the, like MAST? My son goes to MAST, or MAST, as everybody else wants to call it. You know, there's incredible schools. So if we're cutting ourselves off and literally making ourselves our own little island, are we still, what about these amazing schools that we have access to? If we're taking the money away from that pot, how are we going to fund everything for the good of everybody, not just just one school on the beach?
Well,
Because
there's
let me
seven.
tell you, we have award-winning, nationally and internationally recognized schools that need to be funded. So how are you going to propose to do that if you're taking all the money away just for like 3 schools?
Well, we have 7 schools on Miami Beach, but we're not taking funding away. We're not taking funding away from the schools. We're actually trying to add more money into the schools. It's the
Well, but she means you're taking funding away from other schools
No, we're not.
that we have access to.
No, we're not.
Okay.
No, we're not.
So where's all the money coming from?
I'll explain it to you. So each school gets a $9,000 stipend per student. Okay? That doesn't change no matter what you do. Whether you become, Miami Beach becomes its own district, the rest of Miami-Dade County still gets that $9,000. What we're simply saying is we would like to think about taking our $9,000 for our 7 schools. It doesn't mean that you can't go to Mass Academy. It doesn't mean that you can't go to School for the Arts. It doesn't mean any of that. They still get the same funding. It has nothing to do with our funding. Our funding is completely separate from their funding. It's the district that becomes a central government and takes all of the funding, the hundreds of millions of dollars that they get in funding, okay, and then decides how to distribute that out. Okay, what we're saying is that's not equitable to Mass.
Because this is very complicated.
But I understand.
Understand. Yeah, you understand it completely. You understand it. There is a lot of minutia that goes into it that maybe you are really overseeing because you're looking at us. I remember a long time ago, I was not mayor, I was not commissioner. Maybe I was at the beginning of commissioner. We did look at, the city looked at that, and it was not feasible at that time. It could be feasible now. It's almost 10 o'clock, so we had a great time. Did you have a question? Oh no. You said, ask me the question.
It was about homeless, so we'll talk later.
Okay. So, thank you so much. I'm glad you came. Some people are afraid to come. I mean, you brought a policeman, but that's okay. At least you came. So, I'm glad you came. And I hope that I was the worst one, because I could be very bad.
I brought the policeman for you, man.
No.
No, I didn't bring a policeman.
I don't
I didn't
need
bring
a
a policeman,
policeman.
but
I don't need a policeman. I can really save myself. So, thank you so very much.
Sure.
And now I turn it over to, you want to say anything else?
no, I just, listen,
Sure. Go ahead.
look, we're a diverse community and with a lot of different interests. And the one thing that I would say, and the one thing that I don't like even in our national politics, our state politics, is the discourse. I think that we need to be able to communicate with each other, on a civil level, listen to each other, be open to each other, and be open to changing our minds. So that's the only thing I would like to say. Thank you very much for having me here today. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. It was very nice to meet you.
Before we go, next week, the 21st, we are going to have Mayor Minor updating us on his campaign. He's going to be running for his seat. So come next week. Thank you.
I was good.